the energy comes back up. So when you turn, that turning you allow to happen by sinking. Okay? So technically, because the arms are attached to the spine and the spine's turned by the hips, which are turned by the legs, then your arms and hands are moved by your feet. Technically. And that's technically accurate physical. So it's something to think about because of the power. But the harmony of opposites is that balance. You're balancing your limbs across a center line. So you're constantly balancing opposite sides of your body, your left, your right, front, back, all operates together. So there's a lot more detail I gave you in here about that. Also, harmony of opposites applies in all ways philosophically as well as spiritual. We cannot properly perform the physical aspects of Tai Chi, or our lives for that matter, without relaxing our mind and focusing on the present moment. The past is gone, the future is not here yet. The only time that truly exists to accomplish anything is right now. To help us stay in the present moment, we practice moving meditation, or Tai Chi. As we've seen through meditation, we practice quieting our daily worries and anxieties and focusing on the silence between our thoughts. That's what you kind of want to do. When you get rid of all that busy talk, you'll eventually have gaps between thoughts as your thoughts slow down. Where your source of creativity is in those blank thoughts between. You just have to that allows things to come to you. The creativity of the universe, the creativity of your mind comes to you in those empty spots where you start, coincidentally, things start coming to you. You pose a problem. Oftentimes, I think, Mike, we had a conversation one time where you said you sort of just sleep on something and it eventually just comes to you, the solution. Because that's exactly what happens in our lives. It sounds impossible, it sounds like a pipe dream, but it's in fact true.
You can't solve problems in your conscious mind.
Right. Which is kind of what I'm referring to as that busy, sort of rational day-to-day thinking. So, as we've seen through meditation, we practice quieting our daily worries and anxieties, focusing on the silence between thoughts, the source of our true self, our creativity, and our unlimited potential. There is little question that emotion creates physical stress and tension, which leads to imbalance in our bodies. We should strive to harmonize our local self, which is our ego, with our non-local self, which is the one true self that is in unity with the rest of the universe, with all of existence. Ego creates fear, creates holding on to control, it creates isolation. It serves a limited purpose in our existence, but it should not predominate our existence. Our true self is fearless, accepting, loving, and fully present. And a good example, a perfect example, is just think of a baby. It's perfection, purity, its acceptance of everything. It expresses itself with its whole being. It's like the perfect example. This is how we were born, and this is our real self. We strive to harmonize these two opposites within ourselves, unlimited potential and physical manifestation. Thus the harmony of opposites in that way. We also strive to practice non-judgment in our daily lives. From non-judgment comes acceptance of what actually is instead of what we prefer things to be. From non-judgment comes responsibility for our own actions. The concept of karma tells us that a single cause does not create just a single effect, but a multitude of effects. Thus, from the inception of our daily effects on the world, we should strive to be responsible. From non-judgment comes the realization that we're all mirrors of each other. We are attracted to people with characteristics that are like us, but more so. We're repelled by people with characteristics that we despise. But we may not recognize that these are characteristics we either despise in ourselves or refuse to accept in ourselves. We recognize them and they bother us so much only because we know them so readily. We should accept the fact that we all have potential for both good and bad. We do not wish to propagate the bad, but we should accept the fact that it exists in us. To deny that is to deny nature. Externally, we easily see that both exist in nature, but we are the nature that we see outside of ourselves. Only our egos make us appear separate. So your enemy is actually your best friend, the harmony of opposites. Another example of the harmony of opposites. It may seem ironic, but if something infuriates you about someone, it points to something you need to learn and change in yourself. If we react negatively to a person or situation, remember we're reacting not to the person or situation, but to our feelings about the person or situation, which is a judgment. Do not shun that feeling, but embrace it and learn why you feel that way. Examine it, understand it. Only then can you let it go so it no longer bothers you. So you can approach life with an open and loving mind. Thus we harmonize the opposites of our relationships of good and bad. Another example is Christ said we must be as little children. By that I believe he meant that we have experienced good and particularly bad things in life. But we must have the courage and fearlessness to remain open and loving just as a child. In the eyes of many preeminent spiritual leaders, the primary universal solution to the problems of our world are compassion and love. Rather than dwelling on the hurts and pains, try to let yourself open back up to love and compassion, the harmony of opposites. Deepak Chopra refers to the law of giving. It's kind of another example of the harmony of opposites in the world. Simply put, give that which you need. Give that which you need, and you'll acquire it tenfold. Again, harmony of opposites. This seems intuitively impossible, yet it's a universal truth. Just try it and you'll see for yourself. If you want money, give money. If you want love, give love. If you want compassion, give compassion. If you want acceptance, accept others. If you want respect, respect others. If you want understanding, first seek to understand others. If you want to express your point of view, first understand another's point of view. If you want peace, give peace. Unfortunately for us, the law works negatively as well. If you do not accept, you won't be accepted. If you do not give love, you won't get love. Harmony prevails. In summary, a good analogy is that we are all individual waves in an ocean. It sounds a little corny, but when you think about it, yet we're all the same water. That's really what we are in this universe. Just unique and fleeting manifestations of that water that come and go as cycles of life. This is not just a clever quip, but a fact proven by science. Every atom of our being and everything around us is made up of the same basic elements that are formed in the core of a star. We easily see that within the core of a star. There's simultaneous destruction and the unbelievable creation of life and beauty. Again, the harmony of opposites. We are each unique manifestations of those common elements created in the star, but we are formed from the exact same common elements. And the universe ebbs and flows. As it does, so do we individually ebb and flow in our own lives. Thus, all the mysteries of the universe are occurring right now within ourselves. A little scary, but fascinating. It's important to realize that the universe evolved even our very consciousness, our unique view of life. It proves the enormous potential within each of us. We can each do something or some things, or do them in a unique way better than anyone else in the world, which is your dharma. In Buddhism, it's called dharma. Follow your desires with detachment, and we talked about detachment before. Determine what you love to do. Determine how that which you love benefits humanity. And if you do that, you'll succeed in anything you want to do. With the power of the universe is within you. Remember that on which we place our attention flourishes, that which we ignore dies. So with that, let's just do a few minutes of
Okay.
And at the hips, turn that left foot in. So you're going to end up having to rotate a little bit on both. So you're going to be turning in a little bit with your whole body. A little bit to the right, diagonally. Your hands are still going to be in the same position as board on left. As you sink your weight into that left foot, form the ball on the left side. Okay, over here. Right hand palm up, left hand palm down. Michael, get your left hand up by your shoulder. No, drop your elbow. There you go, straighten your wrist. Okay, better. Can you move your right arm over to your hip more? No, the other hip. There you go. Kind of like this.
First hip.
There you go, good. Okay, so with all the weight over there, then again, this leg will be empty, your right leg. Step out shoulder width, heel first. Now, heel first is important because that's what gives you shoulder width. If I step out toe first, my heel's going to go back down and I'm not going to be wide enough. So you have to step out heel first. And put your foot down empty, and then bring the arms up. Shift 70% of your weight into your right leg, 30% your left. Just square off, Michael. Good. Let this bend. You can let your knee bend as far as your toe. You can go past your toe. So you can use that space. Pretty good. Square up, very good. Square up. Just this up a little bit. Make your arms as level as possible. That's sort of working. Watch your hands, your arms. Just relax. That's the thing. Just try to focus on relaxing. I'll bring this up. Think of it as like a defensive posture when I'm coming in. Right, so you're using it as defense. And try to get your step a little wider.
You actually do feel better.
Oh, yeah.
I got out of my
Tai Chi is something.
So it's them.
Yeah. And then try to relax through that as well, because that's the thing that's, I mean, what I'm saying, that's what looks so deceptive. Once you get that, really those strong legs actually get you really good workout. Just a bit deceptive. So let's start with that 70-30 again. We'll go through that new posture. Because again, it's not really a new posture, it's just a different form of the transitioning from board off left to board off right. So we sink all of our weight back to our right leg. Turn at the hips. Again, when you turn at the hips, this right hip, don't twist your knee. Okay? That knee should remain perfectly aligned with your toe, your right toe. So your right knee and right toe, in this case, should remain aligned. So you're turning, you're folding, that's called folding the hip in. So the right hip folds in, as does the left hip. But it should be simultaneous. Remember, your pelvis, your hip joints connect to your pelvis. If you turn your pelvis in, it'll turn your other leg in. Just let your toes fall at 45 degrees. Now you're still in the left hand, right hand, board off left posture. So then sink all of your weight to your left leg and form the ball. Right hand at your right hip, I'm sorry, right hand at your left hip, left hand at your left shoulder. Right hand's palm up, left hand's palm down. Try to get a good space there because it'll give you better balance. I mean, you don't want to be too narrow, you don't want to be too wide, you want to be shoulder and hip. Okay, then from that point, step out, shoulder width to heel first, empty, all the weight still in your left leg. Shift all of your weight to your right leg, bring the hands up, and turn the hips in so that they're squared off to your right. Turn those hips and shoulders in. Michael, right hand up here. Not that high, a little lower. But neck level. There you go, that's better. Good. No, actually, I saw you right there. Just working on that water stuff. All right, so the next thing we're going to do with the hips, remember you're 70% on this right leg. That's why it's important to make sure you are. We're going to now turn the body at the hips. You're going to fold this right hip in and open the left hip up a little bit. It's going to stretch it a little bit. Don't force yourself. If you can't do it too far, don't. But you want to turn at the hips into the right, just a little bit, just so you're facing to the right corner. Okay, now when you do that movement at the same time, moving back toward off right, the right palm, or the right hand is going to go from a horizontal position in ward off right to a vertical position. So the right hand is just going to go right up to the right. Up to the right. The left hand is going to turn 270 degrees. So in other words, the left hand's going to do this, watch. It's going to do this. So it's palm up at your right elbow. Right. Exactly. So it gets in like this. It's going to roll all the way around to palm up. Which is not, I think it's about 270 degrees, not 360, because the forearm would go that way. Okay, so as you turn to that right, good. Then, next step is, we're going to sink all of our weight, shift it back to the left leg slowly. Again, think of a slinky. When you shift weight, it's like having a bottle half full of water that you shift back and forth. The water slowly flows from one side to the other. That's the way your body weight should transfer, very slowly. Shift all of your weight to your left leg. As you do that, from this position, the left hand swings down and out, so it's palm out. So it's going to just make a big loop. It's going to come all the way down and around, a big arc. big arc, comes down. The right hand is just going to come back down in front of your chest, face in. Just going to go like this.
So you're dancing.
Exactly, just like dancing. It is a dance. It's like this. Now your upper body, remember, as you turn back, your body turns at the hips, faces out to the diagonal. Okay? Okay, so from ward off right, turn into the right again, you're 70-30. And then as you shift back, the arms, right hand comes down, left hand goes back and out. Your nose and navel remains aligned. You should basically be looking out to your diagonal. Okay, so again, starting here, turn to right. Right, that's, just let that go up. Oh, and bring this to just almost touching your left elbow. There you go. Now, left hand comes down and out, right hand just comes down to the front of your chest. Right hand's facing in, left hand's facing out. Drop your elbow, Michael. Good, okay. Next step is we're going to come forward. We're almost going to go back to the ward off right position, but it's going to be something called press. So the hands will come in like this, and they will be palm to palm, right hand facing in, left hand facing out. So they will come from this position. The left hand is going to come all the way around. Left hand makes a big entire loop from here, all the way down and all the way back in a big loop. Nice big loop. The right hand just goes up and down. Just all you do is move your right hand like this. That's it. You know, when you move over from ward off right.